So this is the first job that I've got in mind for the Meller lathe. I'm going to call it ML001. So here's our glass table, and right here there used to be a plastic shield for this hole in the glass, and in the sunlight it's just disintegrated. Now if I put the post in there, all that's going to happen is going to chip and maybe break the glass. So what I'm going to do is make a cover for that, which needs to have a hole in the middle so that I can put the umbrella through it. I'm going to make that out of aluminium and turn it on the lathe. So this is going to be the garden table job 001, which is the protector to go through the center of the table. The table is represented here, so that is end elevation. There's the center. And I'm going to make the component out of this piece of metal here. I'm going to cut a piece of metal probably in the region of that size there. And from that I'm going to mill a circular piece of metal. Once I've got the circular piece of metal, obviously that'll be a bit bigger. And the way I'm going to do it is I'll cut around here. I'll drill a hole in the center, put a nut and bolt through there. So here's the side elevation of that. So there's the job. Cut a hole in the center, put the nut and bolt through there, tighten that up, and then that will sit in the chuck here and spin around so that I can cut around here. So plan view. Now we'll go to the end elevation. So from there I need to cut this piece of metal like this and get rid of this material around the edge to a depth equal to this here. So all that material will go, and that will allow it to sit into this recess here. Okay, once I've achieved this, and whilst this is still in the chuck of the lathe itself, because I need to be able to spin it around, then I'll cut it again and remove all of this material here. So that will have a hole going straight through it. So all of that material will come away, and then I'll have a component that will protect the glass from any chips when you put the umbrella through the center. Okay, that's the plan. Okay, let's see how successful this is. Okay, that's very successful. Next thing is mark the center and then drill a hole. going to put the bolt in. So this is going to let me grip the job with the jaws of the chuck on here, and that will allow it to spin around, and then I can cut the edges to make a perfect disc to start the job. Okay, so that's the correct size for the outer diameter, and now I'm just going to start the cutting. Okay, that's good, that's halfway through. What I'm going to do now is take the job out, turn it around, and then cut it from the other side. And I'll leave this precisely located so that I know exactly where the blade was when it was cutting this side. Making sure I've got the chuck tightener removed from the chuck. Okay, that's nicely cut now, and the next thing I'm going to do is cut this edge so that it's nice and smooth, because at the moment it comes to a ridge or a point. Okay, if I look at this profile here, so I've got this thickness here, and that's going to be the widest diameter. Now I've got a natural ridge here, so this is going to be the inner diameter. So I'm going to turn the job around, and then I'm going to cut from the inner diameter out to the edge to a depth of this thickness. That's the next part of the job. I've measured the inner diameter accurately. Now I'm going to transfer it to here, to the job. Okay, so that's exactly where I need it to be. Now what I'll do is I'm going to cut the inner edge as straight as I can, and then start milling outward. Okay, that's a really nice finish on that. Now what I'm going to do is take the job out, offer it up to the recess in the table and make sure that's the correct diameter. If it isn't, I can just tweak it. So I've cut nearly all the way through, and I know that that is the correct diameter for the inside because I measured it against the Brolly itself. So on the other side of this, it is brown, so I want it to be shiny aluminium. Now so what I'm going to do is I'm going to machine the top surface the way I machined this surface. Now if I cut all the way through now, the whole job will not be able to be held in the machine. So the first thing I'm going to do is flip this over. I'm going to mark it with this blade here. I know where it should be for the final cut. I'm going to machine the surface and then I'm going to cut all the way through so that this disc is free, and that will be the job complete. So this is where the final cut has got to go all the way through. Now what I'm going to do is machine this surface all the way to the edge of there so it's nice and shiny. Okay. So there's the job complete. Let's have a closer look at it. So this is what I set out to do. So I rough cut a bit of metal there, cut out the circle accurately, and then the first thing I did is make this recess here, and then finally I cut through the center, and that allows the Brolly to go through there. So there we go. This is what we've ended up with. So quite pleased with that. There's a little recess that fits in the recess of the glass. What I'll do is I'll file the inner side of it because it's quite sharp at the moment. Let's go and put it on the table and see what it looks like. There we go. Very nice. Very pleased with that.